So in today's video, we are preparing for fall. I have a lot of fun things on the agenda for today, such as doing a decor audit, going shopping, creating a magical, whimsical, autumnal Pinterest board, planning out my crafts and DIY projects, making a baking and cooking list, organizing all of my fall clothes, creating my fall book to be read list, and last but not least, making a fall bucket list. If you're new here, my name's Alexa, and on this corner of the internet, we love books, cozy decor, cooking, baking, all things cozy vibes. At the beginning of every new season, I like to do a decor audit to see what I already have in my storage bins. It's a great way to make sure that as the seasons change, and amidst social media images, excessive consumerism, and aggressive marketing, I don't succumb to the pressure to buy more things than I need. I'm still susceptible to the pressures as much as anyone, but taking inventory of the decor I already have, the things I'm very fortunate to own, puts things into perspective. I ground myself before the season begins, and from there, I decide if there are any new pieces I really want for the season that I don't already have. At the start of every new season, it's also just really joyful to me to open up my old decor boxes and rediscover the pieces I own, because as the years go by, each item I own just collects more sentimentality. This might be cheesy, but I feel like opening my seasonal boxes every year is kind of like saying hello again to an old friend. And it just gives me that same sort of whimsical, nostalgic feeling. So I have like no self-control when I go to Hobby Lobby, so I did get a couple of things that I needed that were on my list. I did get these florals. These ones match some that I already have that I got last year, but last year I, for some reason, decided I only needed to get one. So I'm just filling out my fall florals there. And then I got a couple of other just basic necessities like scrapbooking tape and scotch tape. I did get these really cute little washi tapes because I need them for my journal. So I'll show you the rest when I get back, but I think I might grab a little Chick-fil-A snack right now and then I'll head back. Okay, so I just had one of the most successful thrift trips that I've ever had, which is really exciting because I went to look today specifically for some fall items to just round out my decor and what I already have. So I was looking for a couple of things. I was just looking for any really beautiful books that I would actually read, specifically hardcover if they had any. I was looking for some DIY projects, a couple of vases, things like that. So starting off, I will just show you these beautiful vases that I found, and honestly they look brand new. Like they look like they haven't actually been used, which is crazy. So I did end up getting 2 of those just because I felt like I could use them on my bookshelves maybe, or around the apartment, and there was a 3rd one there, and I'm almost kicking myself for not getting all 3 just because I feel like they're so versatile. And yeah, they are a little bit more fallish, but I feel like with my decor, I could really use these year round. But they're really cute, like rustic ceramic vases. This is one of the coolest things I've ever found in the thrift store, but it's supposed to look like an old phonograph. And it's actually an iPhone speaker, so you put your iPhone in here. You put the bottom right here. I think you have to put it on without a case, but then it's supposed to funnel the sound out, which is so cool. And I just really love creative things like that that really mix modern and vintage. And it's just really pretty. It's on a solid slab of wood. So at some point, I would love to just touch this up, maybe give it a coat of spray paint, not the wood, but just this part. So I think we will need to find a spot for this on the bookshelf because it's so cool. Okay, and as I mentioned, I was looking for some things that I could do crafts with. So I was specifically looking for old sweatshirts that were still in really good condition and were really cozy and were like fall colors, because I've been kind of obsessed with, if you've ever seen Darling Desi on YouTube or Instagram, she does a fall drop of these really cute embroidered sweatshirts every year, and oh my gosh, I've always wanted one. I think they're so cute. She always comes up with these really clever designs, but they're always like $60. I really just couldn't justify spending that much money on a sweatshirt. So what I decided to do was give embroidery a shot and come up with my own little design and maybe like embroider some sort of cute fall thing. I feel like it's gonna be a much bigger undertaking than I'm anticipating, but this way, I mean, I get to choose the color. It's literally like a fifth of the price. And then same thing here, I found this quarter zip sweatshirt. This one's a little bit more fall colored, but I also want to try embroidering this one, so I'll probably do something like in the corner. And then I did pop into Target briefly because I had some errands to run in there. There were a few things I needed. I was going through my spices the other day and realized I'm out of pumpkin pie spice and allspice, which are both very autumnal flavors, so had to stock up on those. The fall stuff at Target this year is really cute, like the Magnolia Home. So I did end up getting just one of these dish towels. It was $4, but it's so stinking cute. Okay, and there we go. I can unroll this for you guys, but okay. It's kind of huge, but yeah. And because it's this giant square too, I think they labeled it as like a flour sack tea towel or something, but I think it could also actually double as a little tablecloth potentially for my round table. And then Target does this thing to me every year where they come out with these adorable little Sherpa pumpkins, and they're only $1 each, so it makes you feel like you're not spending money or that you're like getting a really good deal, which I guess you are. In the past, I got a couple of like rustic red ones, but this year they had these 3 colors. This color scheme is like perfect, so I think these are so cute and they'll look really cute somewhere in my living room or scattered throughout the house. And then last but not least, I did find a couple of books that I was looking for, and I'm really excited about these ones because going through the stack, if you've never read Tuesdays with Maury, I think you have to. It's totally a classic at this point. It's a beautiful short book. I got this for 99 cents, which is incredible. And it's a hardcover. It looks like it's brand new. It really looks like it's never even been opened. Then we have a collection of short stories from Nikolai Gogol, who, man, his work has just meant a lot to me over the years, mostly because I read some of his works in college. If you've seen Gilmore Girls, you know Rory references him at one point. She's talking about the book Dead Souls when she's waiting for her college application to arrive in the mail. If you know, you know. My friend and I in college were obsessed with the story The Overcoat and the other one The Nose, and mostly The Nose because it's just pure absurdity. It also has layers, and I think he's just kind of a genius of a writer. So, and then last we have this gorgeous copy of The Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky. And I do already have a copy of this, but I think I'm going to gift my old copy to my brother, who has also been getting into Dostoevsky recently. And then I will keep this beautiful thrifted copy for myself. So our next plan is to make a whimsical fall Pinterest board. I'm going to be pinning whatever cozy pictures I find with decor inspiration, any crafts that I come across, or any fun baking or cooking projects that I find. So now it's time to start prepping for the crafts and DIY projects that I want to be doing this fall. And I already mentioned briefly in the thrifting portion earlier that I really want to do an embroidery project. And like I mentioned, I have these two really gorgeous fall sweatshirts, and I'm going to be embroidering these. So I'm going to take another quick trip back to Hobby Lobby, pick up some embroidery thread, and then project number 2 is even lower budget, which is awesome. We love a low budget DIY project, especially one that is practical and reusable. I had this idea a while back when I was trying to pick out a paint color for some cabinets that I ended up not actually painting, but I got a ton of paint swatches from Sherwin-Williams. You can find swatches like this at any paint store, just about any hardware store, and I thought I would turn these into bookmarks. The fun thing about it is these ones are actually kind of bookmark sized. These are a little smaller, but I think they'll still work. They'll just be tiny bookmarks, and then these will be more like your traditional ones. But I was thinking, like, on the front of these, maybe I would paint or draw or do some calligraphy. I also discovered that I'm kind of terrible at embroidery without practice, so I decided I needed to do some practice, and I found this mushroom embroidery kit at Hobby Lobby. So I worked on this before attempting to embroider the sweatshirts. Just as with my fall decor audit, I like to do a clothing audit at the beginning of every new season as well. This really helps me to shop my own closet before I shop anywhere else and make sure that I'm utilizing all of the pieces I already have. And I say shop your closet as a term I learned from another YouTuber, Alyssa Beltempo, and I really love her concept of doing that because it really does feel like shopping when you're going through all of your own pieces that you only wear seasonally, and so pulling them all back out again and trying them on, it really does feel like shopping, and so it kind of fulfills that dopamine burst that we're all kind of looking for at the start of every new season. So I just wanted to talk really quickly about some of the books I'm reading right now and the ones that are on my TBR list for this fall. So right now I'm reading Anne of Green Gables, which is a reread for me, and it's very nostalgic. It's about a young orphaned girl who gets adopted on Prince Edward Island, and I think it's a really great book for summer transitioning into fall. So if you're like me and you're kind of in between the summer and fall, I think this is a great transitional book. And then I have The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, which is a book I bought a few years ago and I've been meaning to read, honestly, ever since I bought it, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet because it's a fairly thick book. I just figured that since I hit my Goodreads goal early this year, this would be one of the books I tackle this fall so that I don't feel like I'm having to hit a certain number of books I read. And I know this one starts out pretty intensely, and that's why I haven't finished it yet. I did start reading this last year, I think, and at the time I was reading it, it was a lot to handle. So I'm going to return to it and give it a second chance. The other book that I'm reading right now is Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte, and I'm listening to that on audiobook at the moment through Spotify. And I've always wanted to read Anne Bronte's work, especially because I have read her other sisters' books, Charlotte and Emily Bronte. All of the Bronte sisters' books are perfect for fall, so if you haven't read anything by any of them, I would definitely suggest you go try that out. And if you've read a few of their books, but not all of them, I think the fall is the perfect season to explore some other works that are maybe not quite as well known as things like Wuthering Heights or Jane Eyre. One of my favorite new things to do at the beginning of fall is to make a fall bucket list, which I've seen a lot of people do online, and I'm just a person that loves lists to begin with, which I know is very type A, eldest daughter of me, but I just love a good list, and especially if you can make it cute and fun and whimsical. And so that's what I'm doing here with my fall bucket list, and I'm just adding all of these different activities here that I want to do this fall, the different things I want to bake, the things I want to do, the things I want to read, etc. So I highly recommend doing this and making your list look very pretty and whimsical.